Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is the Comic Hall Roundtable discussion. I'm straight up in your face tonight. I don't know why my camera just want to see my beautiful visage tonight, but I will be your host tonight. My name is Al Rainey, and I have my esteemed colleague, Mr. Matthew, in the state of Georgia, Odom, and we're gonna go ahead and get everything started this evening. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. We haven't been online in a few weeks. During that time frame, there's been two blockbuster movies. Well, two movies that are dropped. Netflix TV show, host of other pieces of news, and the Avengers Infinity War trailer dropped today. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we get into that, I'm going to ask Mr. Odom, how are you this evening, sir?
Hey, brother, doing good, man. Doing good. Doing good. Good to see you. Glad to be back. And as Al stated, we have got a lot to talk about tonight.
We indeed have a lot to talk about. So what we're going to do to try to speed up the process, we're going to change up the flow of the show, or the order of service, how they say in church. What we're going to do is that we are going to do our hauls first. Normally, we reserve that for the end of the show, but because of all the meat and potatoes that we have that we want to talk about, we're going to go ahead and get our hauls out of the way. Hopefully, Antonio Coleman will be online as well as Xavier Randall, Larry Crocker, and hopefully we'll see Vincent Gary. He's been MIA apart, so no, Vince, if you're watching this, man, you need to get back online with us. So I guess we could do rock, paper, scissors, or how you want to do the halls, Mr. Odom.
Well, I'll let you go first. You go first.
Okay, I figured he would do that, ladies and gentlemen, because Matt normally has that hot fire like Dylan, 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 and Dylan because he spits hot fire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually go through some of my pulls for the last couple of weeks. I have obtained a ton of stuff over the last 3 weeks, so I'm not going to go over everything. Basically, I'm just going to go over some of the things, the key pulls that I got over the last few weeks. I am going to start with some of the newer stuff that I got last week, um, starting with this little baby right here, which is called the Doomsday Clock. This is a new story that DC has started publishing this month in November. It is a 12 issue series that's going to go through next year. This basically is going to start the introduction of the Watchmen in the DC universe. So the Watchmen are about to make their move in the DC universe. All of it stems from Rebirth. If you're not reading Rebirth, it is great. They have some really good books. I'm collecting quite a few of them. So this particular version is the lenticular version, as you can see. You can see Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Rorschach's face with those. I can't remember what they call those ink blots, but that's pretty freaking cool. X, I got you a copy. So got that. I also got regular version of that particular book. Picked up Animosity Evolution #2. Animosity is a pretty good series about talking animals. It's like The Walking Dead, but all the animals on the earth have gained sentience in some form of shape, fashion. Got the Punisher 218. Punisher 218, basically, and you see that right. He has War Machine armor. In the comics, War Machine is dead. He was killed by Thanos in the Civil War 2 storyline. So the Punisher now has War Machine armor. So I went ahead and picked that up. Rednecks #7. I got the variant cover for that. I need to catch up on this because this is something that really started off strong, but I got behind on a lot of my reading. So basically, I got to get caught up on this. So Redneck #7, Flash 35, and I have Grass Kings #9. This is a really good read by Boom Studios. I also picked up these little ditties right. Now, I don't know. We may get a chance to talk about Metal this tonight. We might not. Batman Metal is a separate storyline that's going on DC Universe. If you're familiar with it, keep reading it. If you're not, if you can't get the books, please get this on trade paperback when it comes out. This is an awesome story. I've always been a Marvel fan, and I still am to a degree. However, Batman Dark Knight's Metal, awesome storytelling. A lot of it is over the top, but comic books are just that, over the top. So I got Batman Lost. I have The Batman Who Laughs, which is one of the most anticipated books that came out. This particular book may actually hold a little value over time because that gentleman in the middle may end up being a mainstay in the DC universe. So we'll see. And I also have another Batman Who Laughs. Ha ha ha. Going to some of the older stuff. Matt and I went to. It used to be Bungie's Comics, but now it's called Origin Story Comics. They are in McDonough. I was in McDonough for about 2 years, and I came across this store when they were Bungie. They had a Black Friday sale last week. Black Friday sale basically entailed that all their back issues were 50% off. Trade paperbacks were like 25 and 35%. And they have a dollar bin, and the dollar bin basically had 25-cent comics. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get um, that Friday. So I emailed the owners, Adam. I can't remember the other gentleman's name. So if y'all are watching, please forgive me. I should know both of y'all's names by now. But I sent the message, and they were cool with me coming up to partake in that sale the next day. These guys are stand-up guys. They have excellent customer service. And I just want to give a shout out to Origin Story Comics. If you're in or around the McDonough, Georgia area, or even in the middle Georgia area, McDonough's only 40-45 minutes away, business away from the comic book stores in Macon. But if you have opportunity, please go patronize that store. It's called Origin Comics, Jonesboro Road in McDonough, Georgia. But anyway, picked up some ditties there, some back issues. Now I'm not going to go through all of them. I picked up a ton of stuff at a quarter piece. So basically, this was a story that came out a while ago called Avengers versus X-Men. Hope Summers came back, and I'm not going to even go into all that. But anyway, I got all the back issues that I was needing. It's a 12-issue limited series. This is the second printing. All the rest of these are first prints of the book. These books will run you about $3, $4, $5 to $6 on eBay. So I got these for a quarter this past weekend. Also picked this ditty up. One day I'm going to have the original, but in the meantime, I'm going to have to deal with the facsimile. I already have the Marvel True Believers of this, but I bought the Marvel Milestone edition of Giant Size X-Men. That was a quarter as well. Awesome book. Awesome pickup. Last but not least, because again, I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to go through this right here. This was also picked up. This is Infinity. Now, this is actually four of the books. One, two, I can't count. Five in a 6-issue limited series. Now, number one is missing. They didn't have number one. So I ended up buying that one off of eBay for about $3, which I should have this weekend. The significance of this particular book, the Avengers Infinity War, which is coming out in May, elements of this book, of this series in the movie. Particularly, the first issue of this series has the introduction of the Black Order, which are basically Thanos's children that are going to wreck shop on the Avengers. So that's their first appearance. So basically, I got the full miniseries here. And I'm waiting for number one to show up. But I got a host of other things, West Coast Avengers, other back issues, Generation X, but it's too much to even go through. So With that being said, I am done with my pool. So, Mr. Odom, you take it away and you razzle dazzle the people with what you have, sir.
All right. Well, we got quite a few things here between since the last show and the holidays. So about Friday. So we'll go ahead and get started here. First order of business here is the Punisher War Journal #7. This was in the quarter bin. Pick this one up. This is a book that trends I've seen anywhere from 25 and up. Picked that up. Picked up Marvel Age #104. Picked that up because of Jim Lee is on the cover, and we all know at some point Jim Lee, it's going to kind of go like those old Stan Lee comics with Stan on the cover. So I picked that up. The Fury of Firestorm, the Caitlin Summers, the Killer Frost first appearance, the third rendition of Killer Frost.
Caitlin Snow.
Caitlin Snow, excuse me. I'm thinking about one of these slabs back here. Misadventures of Adam West, the free comic book day. I've seen this book going upwards of $300. I found it in the 25-cent bin. I think I showed this. Might have showed this on last show. But this is Walking Dead 21. The prison. When they first got to the prison. And got a few slabs here. Got a XMen 105, $30 slab. Got the Ghostbusters #2. We are ready to believe you variant. This thing is elusive. I have never seen one on eBay, and I've been looking for over a year. I've never seen one of these on eBay. This is a book I have been looking for a while. And Al, you're gonna have to hold on just a second. I need to take this call right quick. So I'm gonna let you pick up right quick, and we'll pick back up in a second.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Odom is pretty much on the go. He's an award-winning photographer. He's done work for Google, Time, National Geographic. So, he's probably working out some type of deal or something. I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just so until he gets back, basically want to go over a couple of things in reference to what's been released as of late. There's some good stuff that's been released recently. If you're not watching, of course, Stranger Things season 2 was released a little while ago. I'm late to the game on Stranger Things, but I actually started watching that the Thanksgiving break, and he is back before I can even get into my diatribe. So I'm going to go ahead and let you finish, sir.
All right. Harley Quinn #30. This is a pretty low print run variant here. This was the last issue of her first run of her series. Miss Marvel #50. Pick that up, $30 as well. And Captain Universe X-23 #1. Pick that up as well. And going to close things out with Amazing Spider-Man 87. Shit. Amazing Spider-Man 67. And Amazing Spider-Man #34. Which is, I believe, this may very well even be the closest I've gotten to up under 50. So I think this is one of my earliest pickups of Amazing Spider-Man. So I was thrilled to was able to pick that up. And last but not least is one that I have been looking for a while. I was able to get this, man. This is the Jason Scott Campbell Spider-Gwen #1. This is the store exclusive. You actually had to get it from his store. So I got that, and that's it, man. That is it for me on my pulls.
Cool beans, cool beans.
But next show I've got the what you probably be the pickup of the year. So it's not 181.
Oh,
Not John size, but it's up there.
okay. Cool beans. And those Spider-Man books, you got those when we went up to Origin Story Comics, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I got those slabs from Will, who is under the weather at Comics Plus. He had a Black Friday sale as well, $30 on certain slabs. He's kind of getting in his new stuff, and he's putting his new stuff up, so he's trying to get rid of old stuff that hadn't been selling, gathering dust. So I took a little bit of that off his hands.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Support your local comic book store, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't live in the Middle Georgia area, wherever you are, support your comic book shop. They need you. So basically, that's going to do it for right now. Again, if any of the other cats jump on and they have any books, we're going to, of course, get their pulls or hauls at that time. But we are going to get to the nitty gritty. First things first, the elephant in the room. Well, there's a couple of elephants in the room, but the first elephant that we're going to talk about is, of course, the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Now, there was a lot of hype about this particular trailer over the last couple of days. People were actually releasing videos of their anticipation of. I thought it was a bit much, but let people live, let them be great, whatever they want to do. However, I actually watched the video, the trailer, as soon as it was dropped. I think Antonio Coleman, one of our panelists, dropped it in the Pop Culture Buddies and I watched it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and start it off. I thought it was great. I think because of the fact that Marvel Studios has built up so much history that they've released, whether they be good, whether they be bad, whether they be great or indifferent, they have built up such a buzz for this particular movie. This movie, of course, is going to be considered a dark movie because of the gravity of the situation. Of course, Thanos, which is one of the major baddies in the Marvel Comics universe, is actually after the Infinity Stones. And in the trailer, it showed that he had two of them. And it was a lot of stuff going on in the trailer. I saw people that I didn't expect to see. War Machine, of course, because in Civil War he got his back broke. But in Doctor Strange, he was supposed to be, I guess, getting help from Doctor Strange. I'm not really sure, and they're probably going to explain all of that. Vision, of course, had his human synthoid body with blonde hair that kind of, I had to watch that like twice. Of course, they showed Scarlet Witch, Captain America, and the beard, the Wakanda, which was an awesome scene, in my opinion, with Black Panther and his people, with Captain America and Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier, taking the forefront. So without really just going over everything and going hither and yonder place, I thought the trailer built up a lot of hype. It was longer than what I suspected. It actually answered some questions regarding the Thor movie. If you haven't seen Thor, you don't want to be spoiled. Plug your ears up for a couple of minutes. During that particular movie, Surtur was destroyed by Thor. Hela took over. Hela was taking over Asgard in order for Ragnarok to happen. They had to resurrect Surtur. During the battle, towards the end of the movie, Loki went down into Odin's treasure chamber, whatever it's called. He the eternal flame that was stored there to bring Surtur back, whatever the word is. It'll lose me right now. As well as the Tesseract, which is the cosmic cube, I believe. So it was kind of questionable as to whether or not he took it. Of course, he did take it. in the Avengers trailer shows that he had it, presumably giving it to Thanos. Again, I thought that the trailer was very well done. The anticipation is high. And truth be told, and I'm about to pass it over to Matt, I honestly don't think after this particular trailer, this is the trailer that Marvel shades of cricket. This is the trailer that Marvel needs to perpetually show between now and the time the movie releases. I honestly don't think that they would need to put any extra information out there regarding this movie because I think this trailer that they dropped today was enough to garner enough buzz where there's going people are going to see this movie in droves anyway. But I think this particular trailer did its job with satiating people until May. Of course, Black Panther's coming out in February. But I think this particular trailer actually did it for me. I don't have to see anything else. I don't have to see any extra footage, none of that. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Matt, and we might play ping pong with it. So, Matt, what did you think about the trailer, sir?
I thought it was okay. That was, I mean, it's what I thought it was. I just felt like something was missing. I don't, and I couldn't quite put my hand on it. I mean, maybe because I already know what's going to happen, but I guess I'm more wanting to see who we hadn't seen. I'm looking for you alluded to this in our other private group on Facebook. I'm looking for a couple of people to show up that I'm waiting to see, but I'm sure Marvel has got them tucked away. Uh, I mean, it's just kind of and that's not knocking the trailer, not saying the trailer was bad. I just it's like a regular trailer to me. It was they're not gonna give away a whole lot. Not at least I hope they don't, and I hope they should kind of keep it under wraps. If I had to rate this trailer today, I would give it a strong 8. It's not the I don't know. I guess it's with movies now. Trailers are trailer. Uh, I mean, even with like when you look at Star Wars. I mean, now Star Wars. I'll take that back. Star Wars trailer I was pretty amped up about. The Last Jedi. But I guess it's more or less okay. I expected this to be, you know, pretty good. Marvel just they don't rarely seem to disappoint. You know, so I like I said, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's very hard to get a 10 for me on a trailer.
Of course. I mean, I'd have to see somebody dead like in the middle of the street that I didn't expect. But then again, that wouldn't be in a trailer. So, but it would get a 10 because they put it in a trailer. But needless to say, I think with with the actual trailer that they released, and I get where you're coming from, and I think Marvel has learned over the years not to put too much out there. And we've talked about this before. Back when they first started, it seemed like they were trying to tell the whole story of a particular movie within the parameters of the commercials and trailers that they released over a period of time up until the movie was released. Towards the second part of phase 2, they started getting better about it. I think they put enough in that trailer to whet people's appetite, to satiate people. Like I said, until Black Panther comes out in February. I'm amped for it. I'm excited. I'm actually going to go and read all my Infinity War, Infinity Crusade comics just to get myself well versed back on it again. But as far as it goes, I'm with you. What Matt was talking about a little while ago was that one of the websites, comicbook.com, had mentioned a character by the name of Nova. Nova is a member of the Nova Corps in the comic book. And in the movies, the Nova Corps were actually featured in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, although Nova was not. So the article basically mentioned that this will probably be an opportunity for this character Nova, which is Richard Rider. So a new guy, new kid, but Richard Rider is back now. It gives them an opportunity to bring him into the fold. Now there was an article that was dropped probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks weeks ago that the Russo brothers indicated that there were going to be characters in the Marvel in the Avengers Infinity War that had not been in any Marvel movie up to this date, up to this point. So right now speculations are high. Nova, Adam Warlock, maybe some of um, the galactic presences like Eternity, maybe in the movie The Living Tribunal. We don't know. But I think that the trailer did just enough to say, hey, this movie is going to blow your socks off. And I have a high anticipation of it. So, anything else you'd like to add to that, Mr. Odom?
Not on that, man. I think that's pretty much about it. Just we'll just continue to wait and see.
Okay, cool beans, cool beans. So what we're about to do next, we're about to flip flop. We're about to actually jump over into. Well, no, we're not going to flip flop since we're going to stay on the Marvel side. Thor Ragnarok came out about two and a half, and the movie itself was a very successful movie. It's still actually playing in the movie theaters at this point. Matthew, Matt, and a few other, I think everyone in the group has seen it thus far. I want to give your impressions on Thor and what you thought about Ragnarok.
I never saw the first two Thors in the theater. I saw them when they on TV, and they were god awful. So I was very tepid in going to see this. I mean, I knew Hulk was in it. We saw that. I was really worried about that back then. And I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. It was really a good movie. On the comic book hall round table discussion scale of approval, I give this movie 8.5. And mainly, I give it 8.5 is because I like the villain. Because every time she was on screen, she raised hell. Every
Oh
single
yeah,
time she raised hell on screen. Uh, and the movie was was kind of a comedy, but it was more. It had good elements to it that really made up for it, like the big blue guy. You know, what do you say? Is Bob gonna be there? I
I
can't
think
think
that
of his
was
name.
Cord.
Yeah,
Cord.
Cord
He
Man.
was
Yeah,
one of the. He's one of the Warbound in the
yeah.
Planet
I'm not the
Hulk and
biggest
War
Thor
Hulk.
fan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not a massive Thor fan and a super Hulk fan either. So I really didn't. Wasn't quite sure, but I thought it was a good movie and got you kind of at the end down the end credit scene kind of got you ready for this trailer that came out today. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my thoughts on it.
Okay, I agree with that. We're not trying to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I mean, if you're a moviegoer, I would think that you would probably have already seen it. But if not, it's cool. Close your ears one more time. Basically, with this particular, with the end of Thor, Asgard was destroyed, decimated, and disrespected, in the words of J.R. Jim Ross. Um, Thor and the remaining citizens of Asgard, along with the Hulk and um, a couple other people. I can't remember who it was, but Valkyrie. They boarded this plane or this ship rather, and they were in space. And lo and behold, Thanos showed up, and he was in a ship probably 10 times as big as theirs. So, like Matt said, the trailer for Infinity War kind of like paved the way, or Thor actually paved the way for some of the answers to what happened. But of course, we won't know specifically what happened to the Asgardians until Infinity War drops next year. Me personally, I give the movie an 8. The movie was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I have watched the first two Thor movies. The first one was abysmal, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is twofold. Number one, Natalie Portman, I'm not dissing her or taking anything away from her acting ability. And Jane Foster just fell flat. I felt as though they didn't need her in that particular movie. it wasn't necessary, and it wasn't necessary. And if they did need her, it was didn't shouldn't have to been prominent. And I think that kind of drug the first movie down. Plus the fact that they really didn't have any action in the movie until the tail end of the movie. Second movie was a little better than the first. So Ragnarok was, in my opinion, leaps and bounds better than the first two Thor movies. There was elements of um, quite a bit of element of comedy, and it kind of reminded me of um Guardians of the Galaxy to a degree, because the irreverent comedy that Guardians of the Galaxy is known for, his last two movies, they kind of like stole that a little bit from Thor, which is not that bad because, of course, this was a space adventure and it worked for Guardians of the Galaxy and it just so happened to work for Thor. Um, Hulk, in my opinion, made that movie. His presence in that movie was greatly needed. The way they explained how he left Earth between, I think it was Age of Ultron up until now, fit in perfectly with the how everything went down in Captain America Civil War. So I do like the fact that they tied all of that stuff together with Thor Ragnarok. Personally, I give the movie, as far as Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion, I give it a strong 8, 7 and 7 3/4 quarters, if that's a number. But it was a strong movie, and then, like I said, it was the better of the three Thor movies. So um, I think at this particular point, I'm not really sure what they're going to do with Thor after the Avengers movies, but we'll see. So moving right along, we are going to go ahead and switch gears, and we are going to go to the DC side of things. In addition to Thor dropping a few weeks ago, Justice League dropped as well. Now, for all of our viewers that are watching, and we do thank you for your viewership. We do appreciate you being here tonight. Don't know if you've actually watched the Justice League movie. Matt and I went to go see it with a few of our other friends. And I would have to say our consensus was the same. The movie was pretty good. Now, people will say that the movie was not that good. The movie sucked. The movie was terrible. If you haven't watched the movie, don't listen to them. Give the movie an opportunity. If anything, go watch a matinee on Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't cost that much if you don't want to spend full price on it. But the movie wasn't bad. Was it an excellent movie? It wasn't. Was it comparable to the Avengers, the first Avengers movie? No. The Avengers movie was an epic movie, in my opinion. However, I think, and I'm going to go on a small tangent, and I know Matt has some things that he wants to say as well because we talked about it earlier this week. But I want to say this, and I really hope that people take this to heart. I'm in several comic book groups on Facebook. So is Matt, Vince, Larry, X, as well as TC, Antonio. And you see a gamut of opinions because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Um, but you see a lot of things surrounding the movie that I feel like is unjust. Case in point, if you're familiar with the director, Zack Snyder, which is director 300, Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, he was actually helming the Justice League. During the production of this movie, one of his daughters died. He left the movie, and Josh Whedon took over. Josh Whedon is, Firefly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's also known for directing and producing the first two Avengers movies. And I think with that being said, a lot of people are in this mindset where they want everything between DC and Marvel to be competition. Now, it's not DC and Marvel per se that's putting this competition together, even though at times both companies will make jabs at each other. DC has been around longer than Marvel. They have some story characters as well. Um, I have been split on many of DC's movies. I thought, my humble opinion, that the Suicide Squad was a better movie than Man of Steel. I think that there were too many issues with editing, the cinematography with the Man of Steel, but that's neither here nor there. My thing is that I try to keep an unbiased and an open mind when it comes down to things that are comic book related, things that are sci-fi related, with the exception of one thing. And Matt, you know what that is. What is that?
Oh, I'll say it again. I was listening, and I
Oh
missed the part.
God, he wasn't paying no attention to me.
Like,
Okay, so basically, you know that I have a disdain for one particular
oh, Superman.
franchise. No,
No,
X-Men,
you're breaking
the
up. That
X-Men movies.
oh,
Oh, okay,
you're
my
sorry.
bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's why I couldn't hear the first time.
Okay, I'm sorry. The X-Men movies, I have a deep disdain for that because I've been a fan of the X-Men for the longest. But anyway, I feel like this movie has gotten a bad rap. The movie was good. Now, was it without problems? No, it had several problems. But I think the problems that the movie had overshadowed, in all, it was a decent effort by DC to introduce their flagship team. People basically have put so much pressure, unnecessary pressure on DC, to try to make these movies of Marvel Studios caliber. And quite frankly, that's not going to happen. Marvel's been doing it since 2008, 2009. DC just got into the game 4 or 5 years ago. So Marvel has a tried and true formula with their movies, and they have hits and misses. Iron Man 3 was not that great. Thor the Dark World was not that great. So, but I mean, as far as it goes, they've had their their share of hits as well. Just to go ahead and wrap this up, I think critics were too tough on the movie, and Larry Crocker will disagree if he was online. I wouldn't be surprised if he popped up in the next few minutes. But too, they were too brutal with this particular movie, and I think they were unbiased to the point to where they, in most cases, and a lot of the reviews that I read, compared movie to the Avengers, and I don't think that's right. DC is trying to still get their feet wet with those movies, and it's trial and error. But overall, even with the issues that I had with CGI, some small plot holes, I thought the movie was enjoyable. Matt, what is your take on this, sir?
You know, there comes a time when people have to face the facts, and people who thought the movie was going to be garbage were sorely disappointed. What you got is you got a faction of people out there who they went to the movies the night before that. They got their voodoo dolls. They went to the shaman and they got whatever roots they could. Sorry about that. See, the shaman is going to work now. The roots. They don't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Rut Walkers.
This movie was on a scale on the comic book round table hall and round table discussion scale of approval. This movie was a strong 8. And there's some people that's like, well, oh well, man, let's take out the Superman debacle. We all know that was a debacle. But when you look at everything else, Al, the movie was good. The movie was good. I mean, there's no complaints. It picks up pretty much after Wonder Woman, right. It picks up somewhere in between Wonder Woman and Superman versus Batman. Picks right up, continues on. That's all I needed. I didn't need a whole lot of backstory on Steppenwolf. If you read the comic, you know who he is. The movie was done good. I could give a damn about the 3D. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me in 2017. It's when you're trying to use real life folks in place of 3D. That's the problem. Uh, or you have like in Superman versus Batman where it's consistently overused, consistently overused, consistently.
Right.
That's the problem you run into when you have a Superman. Whenever Superman shows up on anything, because it's the 3D model. You know, you see the 3D with Spider-Man in Marvel movies, but it's really bad with Superman because you basically have to do that for Superman, so it tends to become overused. So that's the problem that a lot of people are having with it. But if you go ask somebody the quality of the movie, nobody can say, "Oh, this is horrible." It's just the quality was bad. I mean, it wasn't long. It moved, paced well. Uh, Once again, Wonder Woman stole the show. Cyborg was a good build up. The Flash was way more enjoyable than what I expected him to be. I expect the Flash to absolutely stink. He turned out to be good. The whole scene with him and Superman was really good. I mean, the whole, what's his face? Ben Affleck as Batman. I tolerate it. But what are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do. You know he has to play the role. Now going forward, they may get somebody else. But let me say this, man.
Go ahead, sir.
I would say this, man. If I was working with DC, I would be doing my damnedest to get Nolan back to just do some of these movies. I think that is the missing piece here, in their movies. Not saying this movie was bad, but I'm just saying going forward because of the tone. DC likes to have a little bit of a serious tone in their movies, and I think they need the right director in those movies to provide that tone. But what has to happen is people have to stop going to DC movies looking for Marvel movies. That's the bottom line here is that we got too many people going to the movie to go look for the Avengers. And I'll tell you, like I told the guys this weekend, if I put the Fantastic Four in that movie, that'd have been an 8, that'd have been a 9 in some circles compared to what people have seen. In these. Well, and I know last seen that. Well, that's not a Marvel movie. But what I'm saying is, if you were to take Marvel, put Fantastic Four in those roles, and put that movie out, people would be celebrating that movie. They say it's one of the best movies of all time. At some point, we got to get rid of the bias, man. We got to get rid of the bias. It's got to go. If a movie stinks, it stinks. See, Suicide Squad could have been much better. We talked about that here on the show. It could have been much better. Batman vs Superman. How many times have we trashed that movie on this show? We've trashed that movie at least once every 5 months on this show. It gets trashed. So there is no bias when it comes to DC and Marvel in our picture here on this show. The bottom line here is people need to stop doing it. And like that chick that wrote that article, bashing the movie without even making any sense in her column. It's uncalled for. If you don't like the movie, just say, I didn't like the movie.
Right.
And I can just say, oh, well, I didn't like it. Okay, all right, no problem. But don't say the movie's garbage just because you didn't like it. That movie was good. What you didn't like was that you are not a person that follows DC. So therefore, when you watch a DC-based movie, you have no clue of what's going on. And so you're sitting there trying to piece together who the characters are. Where did this guy come from? Why are these aliens showing up on the screen? What is that all about? And if we're going to go by that logic, well, let's go to Avengers #1. Let's go to the first Avengers. Really, nobody likes to talk about that, the elephant in the room where they fought the aliens for an hour and a half. Yeah. Which is that was one of the reasons why I didn't too much care for the first one. Because they fought aliens for a whole hour. It was an okay movie. But that's what I'm saying. We're not holding the same standard across the board. People are picking and choosing. Are we gonna hold that same standard when Black Panther and Avengers come out next? For all we know, Avengers could flop. Not judging by the trailer, but I'm just saying, are we gonna hold the same standard to Avengers? Is Thanos? Are we gonna hold the CGI to Thanos the same principle? Or are we gonna hold it to Superman and everybody else? See, that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna hold that standard across the board, I have no problem with people being hard on the movie. But I want to see people hold the same standard to these Marvel movies coming out next year. Because I'm telling you, if it's garbage, I'm gonna slam it. I don't think it will be. I don't think Black Panther will be. Not from on the outside looking in. But if it's garbage, not only will I slam it, but Antonio will slam it because he's a Black Panther man. So if that movie is oversaturated and it's garbage, I expect him to hold it the same standard. These people have got to stop picking and choosing in the comic industry. You know, it's just like people, oh, DC is trash. Well, why? The numbers are showing otherwise. And then, well, the DC movie was garbage. The Justice League was garbage. Look at the numbers. The movie hadn't been released worldwide. To my knowledge, it hadn't hit everywhere yet. So I mean, there's still money to be made. And we know they're gonna give you the extras when the Blu-ray comes out. And DC was right for making it a 2-hour movie. To be honest with you, I mean, 3.5 hours of sitting there. I mean, hell, man, Malcolm X. I mean, at some point, people have got to just be honest. If you don't like DC, just say, you know what, I don't like DC. But don't trash the movies, man. I mean, just don't slam them without just giving it some thought or watching it or understanding. Now, everybody saw Batman vs Superman. We knew that was going to be a mess from the gate. Everybody knew that. I mean, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder could see that coming.
Ray Charles too.
Yeah. So I mean, but Justice League, no, you just got people nitpicking when it comes to Justice League. That movie, 8 out of 10. You heard it here. I'm sticking with it. And if you disagree with me or don't like what I have to say, then you know what you can do. And that's the bottom line, because Stone O said so. Let's move on. Then we got to talk about Punisher.
Right on, right on. Before we go to the Punisher, let me just say this right quick. Like I stated earlier, I mean, the movie was not without faults. You know, stuff like Matt just said, it was edited. In my opinion, I think that with the movie, with the way it was a decent movie, a good movie. I think it could have been better in terms of what may have actually gotten cut out, because we don't know. But like Matt said, and he pretty much hit the nail on the head. You know, if you are a comic book fan, you may be partial to Marvel, to DC, but competition never hurt nobody at all. We use a prime example of WCW. If you all are familiar with the pro wrestling scene, WWE, there's no longer a WCW, so WWE could put whatever they want to put out now, and you know they can sprinkle sugar on doo-doo and call it a Eclair, and they expect you to eat it. So anyway, just be open-minded when it comes down to these movies, and don't be quick to thrash it. And like Matt just said, which he hit the nail on the head perfectly, if you say you don't like a movie, give some type of logical explanation as to why. Don't just say the movie sucks. That's your only reason why the movie is not good. Or don't say the movie is not good and you hadn't even laid eyes on it. Hypocritical to say some stuff like that. But moving on, another one of particular media that was canned by critics, and Rotten Tomatoes now is becoming the Antichrist when it comes down to certain things. It's the Punisher. Punisher was released on Netflix about right before Thanksgiving. When was it? Before Thanksgiving, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. To critical acclaim for the most part. However, some critics decided that they wanted to take that to task for whatever reason. Now, mind you, John Bernthal, who's also known as playing Shane in The Walking Dead, in the second season of Daredevil. And essentially, he's the same character as he was in Daredevil, but he has his own show. Now, I haven't watched the whole entire season. Matt has. But from the 5 episodes that I've seen, it has piqued my interest. It has kept me focused on wanting to get to the end. And that's a heck of a lot more than I can say about. I still haven't finished the first season of Iron Fist. So basically, from what I've seen thus far, how the story is being woven together, I've given nothing but kudos. And the masses seem to feel the same way. Um, it's a gritty show. It's violent, but I mean, it's the Punisher. That's what you could expect from a character of his caliber. Matt, go ahead, man. Take it away, sir. You do your thing, sir. I think he's transforming into
I'm
something.
still here. No, I'm still here. I
Go
just
right ahead.
yeah. No,
Don't start. Go ahead.
no. You're fine. I had to step away for just a quick second. Let me tell you something, man. I've watched the whole season. On the scale, the comic book hall and round table discussion scale of approval, Matthew gives The Punisher a 9 out of 10. Matter of fact, a 9.5 out of 10. And I'm only giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because the first couple episodes kind of start out a little slow. Let me tell you something here, man. What you got here is you've got basically Daredevil season 3, Punisher Unleashed. This is what they should have called it. It should have been Daredevil season 3, Punisher Unleashed. Shane Bernthal plays this just like he plays Shane on The Walking Dead. If you watch The Walking Dead, it's the exact same attitude, same exact mentality, and I'm here to tell you it's a phenomenal show. I've seen bad reviews from this, and I think Al is frozen there. Al, you still there? Yeah, Al's froze, but we'll keep it going. I've seen bad reviews throughout the last couple of weeks, and I don't understand what people were looking for here. I mean, they've got to give you some type of a little bit of origin here with the Punisher. Um, I think people are now what you've got is, and we've talked about this in previous shows, but we've got people who are reviewing these shows that have no clue of uh, what people are talking about when it comes to comic books. So you've got a whole bunch of people who might be fans of the genre who's writing these reviews on something that technically they're not qualified to review. And so you've got people who, yeah, I've heard of the Punisher. I saw him in Daredevil season 2, but I didn't realize he served in Vietnam. I didn't realize he served in the military. I didn't realize that he was an outcast from society. And that he kept a low profile with the guy named Microchip. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that these people out to get him. I didn't realize that who Jigsaw was. I didn't realize all this. And so when I watched the show, I'm binge watching, trying to get a review out so that I can just get some, get people to the website. So you're not even taking your time to watch the actual show before you give a clear review of the show. The Punisher is top notch. I really wish everyone was here tonight so I could hear what everybody else has to say. But I can tell you from my experience in watching The Punisher, I liked it. It's a hell of a lot better than this right here. I can tell you that. So I don't know what people are looking for nowadays when it comes to some of these shows. It's a solid show. Works out well for me. I enjoyed it. The consensus of everybody I've talked to say they have enjoyed it. I'm fine with it, man. So you just can't. You can't. I'm learning more and more that you can't please everybody.
Of course, but I also think that people can be too critical of something, to the point to where it really detrimentally affects something in a negative way. Case in point, going back to Justice League. There's no reason why that movie got panned the way it did. So I'd be the first to admit that it had problems. I don't know why it got bad marks that it, but what I've seen has been nothing short of. that's what you want. Riveting television that keeps you glued. Um, and The Punisher is one of those shows. So I don't know um, what some people what they expect, or their expectations are high. And I think a lot of these people that call themselves critics, I think a lot of times they put themselves on such a high pedestal in reference to whatever background or acumen they have, to where when they start reviewing and doing these views for these shows and movies, they take it to another level. Like, you know, I would not review Person Justice League movie like I was gonna review, not Dancing with the Stars, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Two separate movies, two separate everything. You can't use the same measuring stick with everything that you review. And I think that you know, a lot of them do that. And one other thing, man, and we can move forward from here. I just wanted to bring back, just to double back to the whole Thor and Justice League thing. Even though Thor received higher critic reviews view through Rotten Tomatoes and other avenues on Rotten Tomatoes, the funny thing of it is that Thor had the same audience rating.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so I mean, like I told you, I don't know what standard people are holding this stuff to. I think it's all over the place, to be honest with you. Nothing's consistent, and that's what bothers me the most about it. Nothing's consistent.
Indeed, nothing is consistent, and you know, it's one of the things where whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie, uh, look at it from an objective point of view. What you want to do is allow someone to come in and taint your perception of something that you haven't seen yet. I went to see both of those movies when I saw Punisher. My overall objective is to be entertained. Sometimes you go to a movie and that's hard, it's so cringeworthy. But you still have to go to the movie to expect to be entertained. If anything, if you get anything else over entertainment, then you're batting 1,000. If you got entertained, then you may or may not got your money's worth. It depends on what your expectations were. So, um, so that's pretty much it with that. So, um, moving right along, we are going to move on to the next topic. Um, particular, I know you had a couple of topics that you wanted to touch on.
Well, I want to touch on this. I'm going to have to leave shortly, a little after 9 here tonight. But I want to touch on this, man. I'll just get myself situated here because this is going to be a grade A rant. Over the holidays, there was a post in our gaming buddies group. There was an announcement from Capcom about Marvel versus Capcom, and they released 3 new characters. Now, Al, I want to make sure I got these characters correct. We're going to got Venom, Black Widow, and what's it? Who's the third one there?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Now let that sink in. I just paused for a dramatic effect. I want y'all, for those who are playing that game, I want that to sink in. Black Widow, Venom, and Winter Soldier. Now, why couldn't they have been put in the game out of the gate? Because there's nothing there that makes me want to go buy that. There's nothing there that if I had the game that I would. Am I rushing to get off of work so that I can buy Black Widow? Am I rushing to get Venom, who should have been in the game anyway? The Winter Soldier. What are they doing over there at Capcom, man? I mean, what are they doing? What is this all about? I mean, it's like, it's so damn bad I can laugh at it because it's like they've got some kind of deep-seated hatred for somebody, man. Like maybe one of these guys on the gaming circuit really have done something to these people, man. Like, they've got pictures of something on somebody because it's like they're coming out with garbage, and then they're like, oh well, hey man, Black Widow's coming out, and it's okay. Oh well, we got Venom too. It's almost like they put Venom in there just to save face,
Right.
because if you'd have told me it was Black Widow, Winter Soldier, and Devil Dinosaur, there's no way nobody's buying that pack.
Devil Dinosaur.
So you say, okay, well, we'll put Venom in there. And see, the diehards are gonna buy it because Venom's in there. They're not buying it because the other two are in there. They're buying it because Venom's in there. And here's a pattern of what we talked about before. And for those who don't know, there has been a leak of some of the characters that's supposed to be forthcoming. And I told people, you can go back and look about 4 or 5 months ago on this show. I told people that X-Men, they're gonna put them in those packets, and they're gonna sell them. I told y'all this was coming. I knew it from the start when they did not put them in there before, because they know people want the X-Men in this game. People play with Wolverine. If you were to go check the numbers, it's probably one of the most played characters in Marvel vs. Capcom history. Everybody plays with Wolverine. Everybody plays with Cyclops.
Magneto.
Storm. Magneto. It's an atrocity for them to do this. And I know, Al, you got the game on a massive discount. I'm not buying it until they come out with the Tiger Uppercut Hurricane Kick edition. I'm not spending my money. And if Omen King, and he's in our group, and if he's watching this tonight, no, I'm not buying it. And I'm standing on it. I mean it. Because I refuse to put my money into shit. I can pay off bills than to buy this game here. I've got several bills I can be paying than to be bothered with this right here. Capcom, at some point, the buck has to stop. And I'm going to tell you, every single time they do something stupid like this, you will feel the wrath. Black Widow, Venom, and the Winter Soldier. Unbelievable, man. That's like telling me we're going to come out with Injustice and just have Green Lantern, Wally West, and Booster Gold is the main character. Who's pining for that, man? Who's looking for that? What grown man over 30 who has been a Street Fighter Marvel fan is buying that pack? There was no interest in that group. Contrast that with when you saw Injustice release their over the holiday edition of their extended characters list. Did you see who all we got in that? Oh, we get damn Ninja Turtles. You get what was in there? Ninja Turtles,
Enchantress,
yeah,
and
Enchantress,
Adam, and somebody else. Was it Hellboy, or is he already? I think he's already
Hellboy.
released.
No, he was in the pack before this one. It was someone else, but it was enough to make me go, yeah, I gotta get that. Gotta have that. You get all 4 Ninja Turtles, not just one. 4. They give you about 6 characters. And it's been a consistent plane of characters. And they're basically characters that tie on other characters. But Capcom says we're going to give you Black Widow, Venom, and the Winter Soldier. That's what we're thinking, you all. You bought our game at full price, and this is what we're going to give you. It's basically like saying, hey, man, we're going to give you a piece of cornbread, man. We're not going to give you no water. Nothing to wash you down with. We're just going to give you some stale cornbread. And it's typical Capcom behavior. And I'm telling you, man, those numbers, and people can, you know, now we always talk about numbers. Now, for all y'all folks around here want to talk about numbers, the numbers do not lie. Capcom is panicking. They're embarrassed. And there was something oh yeah. And if you don't think people, and this is what just came to my mind, if you don't think people have had enough of this crap with these companies, look no further than what happened today with EA Sports. Well, not EA Sports, but with Electronic Arts. Did you hear about that?
Talking about the Battlefront and the microtransactions.
No, but did you hear how much money they lost in stock?
Mm-mm.
$3 billion. Because of that game. Y'all, Capcom, y'all don't get enough of trying to nickel and dime everybody. They put out crap. So I'm expecting them. The next pack is probably gonna have Mojo, Multiple Man, and Sunspot. That'll be the next pack they'll probably come out with.
I like Sunspot, man.
Because that's the mentality that this company has. They think they see people just keep buying it, keep buying it, keep buying it, keep buying it. But I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it until that thing is damn near $5.
Good Lord.
It's gonna be under 15. I'll tell you that. I'm not buying it because I know there has to be a point where the half-ass products have to stop, Al. It has to stop. And I'm telling you, Capcom is feeling it in the wallet. They've already dropped the price of the game one time. It hadn't even been out a whole year, let alone 6 months.
Yep. It hadn't been 6 months.
No, it has
It
not.
was dropped in
But
September.
August, September. So I mean, they've already dropped it. That tells me all you need to know. And we've got guys that we know personally who are defending this game. They're defending it with their honor, with the badge, with vigor,
Tooth and nail.
with sword in hand, mounted upon chariots.
Mm-hmm.
They're defending it. And they're defending a lie. They're defending false hope. They're defending fiction. There's nothing there. It's false hope. It's fool's gold. As Antonio Coleman was here, I would say it. Fool's gold. There's nothing there. It's a shell of a game. And these microtransactions that they're coming out with these characters lists, this proves my point. This is Cashcom of the highest quality. And they better get all they can out of folks while they can, because when February gets here, we're only about 2 months away from February. The clock is ticking on this gaming franchise right here. The clock is ticking, because when February gets here, it's gonna be lights out.
It's
we all
not
know
even.
what's coming.
It's not even February. You know, the release date of that game is like January the 20th. They pushed it up.
Oh, well, see, there you go. I mean, it's almost here. Winter is coming. It is coming. And when it comes, it is coming with a vengeance. And they're coming out of the gate with top-notch characters in that game. So, Capcom, you all need to get y'all that together, man, and get it together real quick, man. Or otherwise, y'all are gonna be in the distant in the past. Y'all are gonna be like Fighter's Destiny. Y'all are gonna be in the back.
Bloodstone. Time killers.
Time killers. I mean, you can just name them. You can just name any game you want from the 90s.
Tattooed assassins.
Exactly. Pit Fighter. That game that was on 3DO. I mean on Jaguar.
Oh God, Way of the Warrior.
Way of the Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Way of the Capcom. Because that's where it's headed. That is over. Done and dusted, man. That is my rant on that. Shame on you, Capcom, again. Every time you botch it, I'm gonna come on this show and I'm gonna tell you to your face that you botched it and you did it again. Once again, Black Widow, Venom, and Winter Soldier.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Odom has spoken. The game he's referring to that was coming out in February of now January is Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That's actually got a release date of I think January the 20th. He's pretty much hit some key points. One thing I want to add is that um, it was pretty much a marketing ploy to bundle Venom with Winter Soldier and Black Widow, because Venom has always been a character that many Marvel fans wanted to bring back into the fold in the Versus game. So they did so. Winter Soldier, in my opinion, and Black Widow with their move sets is pretty much more the same. If you're, a follower of the show, I've stated on several occasions that I wasn't going to get the game unless the game was $20, and I got the game and it was $20.69. I think it's an okay game. It's not, what I thought it would be. I do think this whole DLC thing, and probably one day when we have time, we can have an entire discussion about DLC and the way that the video game industry is really trying to use DLC and microtransactions to milk their consumers. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna come eventually. But yeah, as far as it goes, that the DLC for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is crazy. I called myself once I bought the game, installed it, the Xbox One. I called myself. I had a few dollars that I had just on my account, so it's like $6. So I'm like, more than $5. So I go to the Microsoft store. I was gonna get Black Panther just for the heck of it. $7.99. Nope. I think that is the most ridiculous and asinine thing. And of course, it's akin to when you go to a restaurant and you buy a Whopper. Of course, the Whopper is going to be $6, but if you buy the drink and the fries with it, they're going to give that to you for $6. So you got a $2 discount on the sandwich, and you got the fries and the drink. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically their way of upselling the product and getting a little bit more money out of you. That didn't sound right, but y'all get what I'm saying. But needless to say, I'm not buying any of the extra DLC until they actually have some kind of sale. Well, it's half off, 75% off, or something of that nature. So, real quick, we're gonna go ahead and bring the show to a close. But I just wanted to make mention of a couple of things. Quickly, in reference to comic books, I mentioned it earlier. If you're into comic books and you watch the show, we do strongly recommend Batman Dark Metal as far as one of the books to pick up. That is a really good book. Again, Doomsday Clock just started for DC. In the realm of Marvel, I've been told by a couple of my friends that XMen Gold is consistent. Not only that, but the Weapon X book is also consistent. So those should be some good reads if you're looking to get into any good comic books on that avenue or that front. On the Image front, you could always you can't go wrong with Redneck, Walking Dead. Any picks or any books in particular you like to suggest, Matt?
I would say, man, Gasolina is a under the radar book that people should check out. Of course, you got Rednecks is a solid book. Um, I mean, anything DC's putting out right now is really good.
Right.
But DC's just on fire right now as far as their books go. That's a fire that's still burning strong. Um, on the Marvel side of things, I hadn't heard anything negative about much that's out there. I hadn't been following too much Marvel. I've been getting mostly DC books the last month or two, outside of the the legacy variants.
Right,
But
right.
other than that, that's about all I can think of. Flash, if people are looking for a consistent winner, Flash is consistent. That's probably one of the most consistent DC books that's out there.
Flash, I agree. Flash is very consistent. Uh, the Green Lanterns book with the two Green Lanterns, that's a pretty consistent book. Green Lantern, not Green Lantern, but Green Arrow, that's a pretty consistent book. I'm looking for a few Marvel titles to pick up. Probably have to get with Larry to see what he's actually reading. Um, but there's some books. Hopefully, we can get to a point to where we could actually have a recommended reading list for the show. Something that we could post every time we do a video. That way, if you are interested or you are into comics and you want to find something new, because between the six of us that do the show, we read the titles. TC reads Black Panther. Um, Vincent reads a lot of DC, specifically The Flash. Matt reads a lot of the independent stuff as I do. The Animosity, the Black Sunday Murders. X reads a lot of Batman. So, we have a lot of. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that, but we have a diverse array of people, that we do read different things. So hopefully we'll be able to get something of that nature off the ground. Also, real quick, Morgan from The Walking Dead has been announced as one of the characters that's going to appear in Fear the Walking Dead. I've mentioned this on the show before. I feel like currently Walking Dead is suffering. Matt is also, we've discussed this in detail. Fear the Walking Dead, in my opinion, right now is the superior of the two shows because it's somewhat non-linear where they don't have to follow the comic book, which has been a blessing and a curse for the main show. But Lenny James, the guy who plays Morgan, is supposed to actually cross over into Fear the Walking Dead. They're supposed to start on filming for that next Monday. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show when Matt had to take his phone call. If you're not watching Stranger Things, go ahead and pick that up. Stranger Things is an excellent show. One other Netflix show that's pretty much a great show is Black Mirror. That particular show is a cross between the Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. We've had some of the group members, the panelists, watch Runaways. And from what we understand, it's not really a good show, but you use at your own discretion. The Gifted, we've been told by a couple of our colleagues that it is a really good show. I'm somewhat biased, but I will give it an opportunity. Trying to think, is there any other news that's been recently released, Matt, that we could go over?
I think that's about it, man. I think we've covered everything tonight. I think that's a wrap, man.
Okay, all righty. Well, of course, if we forget or if we've forgotten anything in particular, we'll try to get it done the next time we get together. Hopefully, we'll be in the next 2 weeks. We'll hopefully try to get back on schedule if we can. We all have different schedules and we enjoy what we do, but sometimes we can't because, of course, we're grown. We have responsibilities. So,
Yeah. So,
as
Al, not to cut you off. I think we'll be back on the 13th, and we're going to have a
okay.
special Christmas edition of the Comic Hall on the 20th. So we'll do a double. We'll do a double duty next month.
Right on. And the show on the 13th will be 4 days after my birthday. Yeah. So, I might say happy birthday. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. That's stupid. Anyway, this is gonna be the show for this evening. It's been a while since we've actually done a show with just two of us. I think this is like the first time, or maybe the second time that Matt and I have actually helped the show by ourselves.
About a year, man.
Larry. Yeah. It's been like, I think when we first started last year, we did a show, but it's been a while. But anyway, fellas, we missed you. TC, Larry, Vince, Weldon. I don't know, Weldon, man. I think you in
Parts
the green or
unknown.
something.
Hard,
I don't
hard,
know,
hard.
man. I think they got you somewhere tucked away with Fox Mulder and Dana Scully somewhere, man. So, at least bring your head up for air every now and then. But anyway, this is going to wrap up this particular edition of the Comic Hall Roundtable discussion. We do apologize. There's been some slight technical difficulties. I might have called my cable company. I don't know what's going on. I think me and Matt have the same cable company, so there might have been some trickery, and it might have been Pop Shango working them roots. But nonetheless, we have enjoyed being here with you tonight. We are going to go ahead and call it a night. On behalf of Matthew Odom, my name is Al Rainey. In the absence of Antonio Coleman, Xavier Randall, Vincent Garrett, Larry Crocker, Will Ramus. We want to thank you for being a viewer. If you watch this particular show or any of our shows on the channel and you are not a subscriber, click the subscribe key. We appreciate it. Hopefully, once we accumulate a certain amount of subscribers, we can do a lot more. Matt and I talked about some things that we'd like to do for 2018. So we want to bring a little bit more zest and zeal and appeal to our channel so that we can compete with the big boys like WCW. Needless to say, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. So with that being said, we thank you once again for your viewership. We appreciate it. And as always, may the force be with you. And to quote one of my homeboys, may every basket you shoot hit nothing but net. We'll talk to you later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
What you gonna do?